Today we're gonna do our basics flow. We'll incorporate some core in hopes that warm weather will come and we can go back to being outside with our friends, family, loved ones. Um, and we will go over some grounding things. It's getting a little difficult to have hope when we're experiencing snow in Ohio in the middle of April when we're all kind of itching to get outside. So we'll work on some of our core. We'll ground down a little bit. We're going to begin today with a little bit of meditation and breath work. So I know not many of you have blocks at home. And I always talk about how I really don't like to sit with just my knees crossed and my bottom on the floor. So if you want to fold up a blanket, which is what I'm going to use today, you can grab that really quick if you want to use that to sit on. It's also really nice to have for your head in Shavasana. So we're going to start. I just have like a folded one of those yoga blankets, and I'm just going to use that to take a seat on. So if sitting is something that you're just really not up for doing right now, you're more than welcome to lie down. We're just going to start with a little bit of breath work to kind of ground down in how we're feeling today. So wherever you are, seated or lying down, make sure that your spine is really nice and long. Your shoulders are down away from your ears. Your neck is long. Your belly is loose, but sitting, you're slightly tucking the belly button in and up just to support your low back and a straight spine. And we're going to take the right hand over our heart and the left hand over top. We're going to sit up nice and tall and just gently close our eyes here. And just take a couple deep breaths. So with each breath in, feel the nourishment of this very moment coming in. And with each breath out, feel yourself releasing any tension, releasing the day, releasing the week. And as you breathe in, feel the breath come in through your belly. So feel your belly expand out as you breathe in. And I know with the hands at our heart, you may have the breath coming in from there. So if you want to move the hands down to the belly to focus more on bringing the breath into the belly for now, you can go ahead and do that. But feel the belly expand with the inhale and then deflate with the exhale. And then if your hands are on your belly, go ahead and bring them back up to your heart. And we're just going to kind of tune in to how our heart is feeling today with our breath now. Not passing any judgment, just kind of noticing, does it feel heavy? Does it feel light? Does it feel happy? Does it feel sad? And letting our awareness just fully drop into your heart. And go ahead and set an intention for today's practice. And that intention can be anything that you wish. Maybe remaining present for the remainder of the practice. Maybe letting go of tension. Maybe escaping a bit with your breath. And then keeping your eyes closed, but just taking your hands down to your knees. Palms face up or down, whatever feels comfortable for you. Just really tuning in. Imagining little roots like a tree coming from the base of your spine and rooting into the earth. Grounding you into this moment, into this practice. And then gently opening those eyes. And if you're sitting on a block or a blanket, go ahead and extend your feet out and just take that blanket or block off to the side. We'll use it later at the end of class. We're just going to stretch our legs out long in front, pull the toes in towards our shins, and just bring our hands down to the tops of our thighs, rolling the shoulders down and back. Sitting up nice and tall with that long spine. Taking another big breath in, and as you exhale, walking the hands down the legs, but keeping your spine as straight as you can. So not dropping into the belly or arching through the spine, but just staying nice and long and just kind of beginning to stretch out the hamstrings here and the backs of the legs. Keep the breath coming in and out through your nose, nice and deep. Another big breath in. And another big breath out. Big breath in. And a big breath out. Big breath in. Go ahead and walk your hands up towards your body. We're going to separate the legs here, coming to a wide straddle. And we're going to remove the flesh from those sit bones if we have it there. And there's no judgment. It's just a little extra protection. Take a big breath in here at the center. And as you exhale, begin to walk your hands down the center of your legs. So, it's the beginning of class. It's the end of the week, and we're in a high stress environment currently. So if you're finding yourself only able to go this far, that's perfectly okay. Don't pass any judgment on yourself. Just kind of feel into the practice, just kind of feeling where we're at. Letting the hips begin to open, letting the body begin to stretch. So imagine those sits bones, which are the bones at the top of your legs, right underneath your booty cheeks. Imagine those going back behind you as you're reaching forward. And maybe as you continue to breathe into this pose, you find yourself able to reach further. And maybe not, and that's okay. You're still stretching out. For a little added stretch, you can really draw the toes in towards the shins, so stretch the back of the legs too. But as you breathe, imagine that belly dropping down to the floor on your breath in and pulling back towards your spine on your breath out. Let the shoulders roll down and back. You can let your head hang here if that feels good, or you can keep reaching through the crown of the head, keep that neck active. On your next inhale, we'll start to walk our hands over to the right, and maybe this is as far as you get. Maybe you could place one hand on each side of the right leg and fold over your right leg. Remember, again, it's the beginning of practice. So dropping those expectations you may have in yourself And just feeling into the body, feeling into the moment. Imagining a tiny little weight on your left hip, drawing your left hip down to the floor as you stretch through the left side. And then on your next inhale, starting to walk your hands back all the way over to the left leg, imagining that little weight on your left or your right hip now, and folding over that straight left leg. Stretching a bit through the left side or the right side of the body. I mean, it's like, come on, get your left and rights together, right? Really feeling that right sits bone root down into the mat as if it was glued there to stretch through that right side. Beautiful. And then inhale, you can walk one hand over the other as you walk yourself back to center. And maybe you'll find yourself folding a little deeper in the center as you've stretched out the side body now. Maybe not. Beautiful. Then inhale, walk your hands back up towards your body. Sit up nice and tall. Cupcake the hands, so you're kind of just putting the fingerprints on the floor and press through those fingerprints as you reach up through the spine, rolling the shoulders down and back, kind of puffing the chest out a bit. Beautiful. Now we're going to take the hands to our sides, slowly bring the legs back together, bend into the knees, and if you want to stay this way, if you're on your mat, you totally can. I'm just going to turn so I am on my mat. And we're going to keep the knees on the floor. We're going to take the hands behind us, fingers point in. We're going to bend into the elbows just a tad. We might squeeze them in towards each other. So we're going to come onto the heels. So lift up on those toes and lift the heart up towards the sky. Kind of open the throat a little bit. You're not throwing the head back, but you're imagining the crown of the head going up towards the ceiling and then back towards the wall behind you. Squeeze between the shoulder blades. Squeeze the elbows together if they were going to touch. And maybe you stay here. Maybe you lift the left heel. Maybe you lift the right heel. Maybe you alternate. So those are the options. Alternating or lifting both heels. On a big breath in, we'll stay. On an exhale, we'll stay. On an inhale, we'll press everything out. We'll bend deeply into the elbows. On an exhale, we'll press ourselves back up and draw the knees into our chest. Beautiful. Inhale, stretch out, bend those elbows. Exhale, pull the knees in. Inhale. Exhale. You're using your core. Inhale, not the strength of your arms to bring you back up. You're lifting your heart to the sky. You're squeezing those shoulder blades together. And maybe this means that you're alternating legs. You're still doing the same amount of work. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Set those heels down and then wrap your hands around the shins. Give yourself a nice big hug. Maybe rock back and forth, massaging out those sit bones. Great job. And then we're going to keep our knees bent. We're going to come down onto the back, keeping the bottoms of the feet on the floor. The knees bent. And just gently windshield wiper back and forth here. Massaging out the glutes a bit. Massaging out the back body. And we're going to stay here. We're going to bring the calves parallel to the floor beneath us. So working towards stacking the knees over the hips. And we're going to take the hands underneath or behind our head, interlacing the fingers. So again, the hands behind our head are just to support us, just like the hands behind our back were to support us. So we're not going to use the arm strength to lift our head. We're going to use our core strength. So kind of imagine a string coming from your core to your head, which is really using your imagination because that doesn't really happen. On an inhale, we're going to stay here. On an exhale, we're going to peel the head and the shoulder blades up towards the sky. Use your core to lift, and then inhale, come back down. Exhale, and inhale. If having the feet lifted isn't for you, you can keep the feet at the floor, the knees bent, and you still doing that crunch. The exhale lifts your head to the sky. The inhale takes your head back to the floor. Beautiful. 10. Use your breath. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one, we're going to hold it up. So hold your head up with your core, not your hands. Keep breathing. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your head to the floor. Hug those knees into your chest. Gently rock yourself back and forth, massaging out the back body. Beautiful. Do y'all feel like when we get, when quarantine is over, they're gonna like count down like New Year's Day, and everyone will be sitting there like with their hands on their front doorknob, listening to the governor count down. And then as soon as it hits 1, like everyone throws their door open and just like runs outside and hugs everyone. That's how I think it's gonna go, but we'll see. So release your feet, bring the bottoms of the feet to the floor, and scoot your heels in towards your sits bones. So those bones at the bottom of your booty cheeks. And we're gonna imagine the knees staying exactly where they are. So in this pose, the knees kind of want to flail out. We really want to keep drawing them in towards each other, as if you had a strap around there, right? The hands are coming down to your side, palms facing down. You're going to take a big breath in, lift your hips to the ceiling, and tuck your chin into your chest. You're going to try and loosen through the glutes, loosen through the hamstrings, and just lift your hips here. So this is a stretch of your whole core here. So if you can imagine that whole abdominal muscle that runs from the pelvic bowl all the way up to your rib cage, that's just stretching here. It's getting nice and long. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, lower the hips. Now we'll do a little bit of glute work. So on an inhale, lift your hips, squeeze the glutes. Exhale, lower, but don't hit the ground. Inhale, lift, squeeze. Exhale, lower. Make sure those knees aren't going out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Take the hips down and take your arms out to a T, so really stretch them out long alongside you. Take your knees to the right. Your gaze can go to the left. Make sure that your left shoulder blade is really rooted on the ground here. If you find it hiking up a little bit, we want to lay off the twist so that the left shoulder blade can come down to the floor. And just breathe in and out through the nose. So if you're new to yoga and the breath that we use for the yoga practice, I highly encourage you on just taking this practice to focus on that. It can be a very different way of breathing if you're not used to it. So we breathe in and out through the nose as we expand out through the belly on the inhale and drop the belly button back towards the spine on the exhale. So next inhale, take your knees up through to center, and then exhale, take them over to the left. So breathing from the chest can cause a lot of anxiety. And when we breathe through the belly, that diaphragmatic breathing, it's actually happening from the diaphragm, which is at the base of the ribs, kind of tucked under there, like beneath the lungs. So we breathe through that diaphragm, and the diaphragm is what presses our belly out and then pulls it back in when it deflates. And breathing through the diaphragm can nourish the body and decrease that anxiety that we may be feeling. And on an inhale, take your knees back up through to center. We're going to hug those knees in, and we're gently just going to rock up and down a couple times, getting a nice massage through the back body until you come to a seat, and then take your hands down as you find a tabletop. So depending on what kind of floor you're on, the floor might be a little hard on your knees. So you can use that blanket that we had, right? And you can put the blanket underneath your knees to kind of support you here. We'll just be here for a little bit. So here, we stack our shoulders over our elbows, over our wrists. Spread your fingers as wide as you can, and then bring your hips over your knees. Your knees are spread about a fist and a half width apart. So your gaze is down at your fingertips, and the crown of the head is reaching towards the front of your mat or wherever you're at. And your shoulders are rolling down and back so that they're not up in your ears. Excuse me. On an inhale, imagine your belly button dropping down towards the floor. So lower the belly, peel your heart forward, roll your shoulders down and back, and lift your tailbone to the sky. So a little cow pose. So cows have that really big dip in their back, and that's kind of what we're creating here. We're enhancing that natural curve of our spine. Beautiful. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, really press deeply into your hands. Curl the spine up towards the ceiling. Tuck the chin into the chest. Crown of the head and the tailbone go towards the floor. Here you can try to shake your head no, and shake your head yes, letting any more tension out. You can wag your tail feather. Beautiful. Now we'll move with our breath. So this is where we start to really match the movement up with our breath. On an inhale, lower the belly, peel the heart forward, lift the gaze. On an exhale, curl the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale, lift the heart, lower the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, curl the spine, tuck the chin, lower the tailbone. Beautiful. One more. Inhale to that cow pose. And exhale to that cat pose. And then inhale, come back to cow. We're going to take the right leg and stretch it back, keeping the right toes on the mat and pressing through that right heel. So trying to keep the upper body exactly where it is and just stretching through that right calf. Beautiful. On an inhale, we're going to lift the toes off the mat, press the heel up to the sky, gaze over your left shoulder, cross the right leg over the left, and maybe take the right toes down to the floor as you gaze at your right foot. Beautiful. Then inhale, lift it up, and take your right leg all the way out to the right, gazing over your right shoulder. So now the inside of the right foot, so the pinky side or the big toe edge of the right foot is going to come down to the floor. So your inner thigh, you're imagining that inner thigh kind of dropping down into the floor. We're stretching out that inner thigh. Toes point forward. Beautiful. You can take your hips back a bit and then drop the hip even more. Try and keep your left hip where it is though, so don't like dump into the left side. Beautiful. And then just drag this right leg back, coming back to a tabletop. And send your left leg back, keeping the left toes on the mat, pressing through that left heel, stretching through the left calf. And then inhale, lift the toes off the mat, gaze over your right shoulder, cross the left toes over the right, press through your left heel. And lift those toes or drag them all the way over to the left, dropping into the big toe edge of the foot, setting the hips back a bit. Getting that nice stretch of the inner thigh. I love this stretch. You can gently rock forward and back as you get a little deeper in there. And then draw that left leg back, coming back to your tabletop. Work your way through a round of cat-cow. And then we're going to bring the big toes together, spread the knees wide, take the hips back towards our heels, reach the arms out long, and lower the head, finding your child's pose. Couple deep breaths here. Here you can really imagine that belly dropping down to the floor as it expands on your inhale. And then pulling away back into the spine as it deflates on your exhale. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then lift your gaze. Walk your hands over to the right. Lift your head, actually. Walk your hands over to the right. Place your left hand on top of the right. Draw your left hip back towards your left heel as if it was being anchored down a bit. And breathe into your left side body. And then walk your hands all the way over to the left. Place the right hand on top of the left. Draw your right hip back towards your heel. Stretch through the right side body. With each breath out, feel yourself release any tension that you're holding on to. And with each breath in, feel yourself sink deeper into this very moment. Into this practice, into your body, into your heart. And walk your hands back to center, coming back to that child's pose. Lower the head in the center. Beautiful. And inhale, lift the head. We're going to press into the palms, coming back up to that tabletop. So we're actually going to eliminate down dog from our practice today. So curl your toes under here and start to walk your hands back towards your knees as you drop the heels back and extending the legs, coming to a forward fold at the back of your mat. Maybe you bend deeply into the knees. This is our first forward fold. It's our first standing position in the practice. So maybe your legs are still a little tight. And take a moment here. Shake the head no. Shake the head yes. Shimmy those shoulders. Beautiful. Take another exhale here. And on an inhale, we're going to press into those feet. We're going to sweep the arms out and up, standing up nice and tall, reaching up high. And exhale, folding forward, taking the hands through the center, folding all the way down. Beautiful. And then inhale, halfway lift. So hands are going to come to our shins or our thighs. Our back is going to be super flat. Your gaze is going to stay down at your mat, reaching through the crown of your head. And on your next exhale, fold. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Stand up tall, reach up high. Exhale, fold down low. Inhale to your halfway lift. Roll your shoulders down and back. Exhale, fold. Bend into your knees. Take your hands to the mat and start to walk your hands forward as you find a high plank. So high plank, our shoulders come over our elbows, over our wrists once again. Our belly button's pulled in towards our spine. If this is too much, you can lower those knees behind your hips though, so not like a tabletop. So you're able to use more of your core, whatever you choose. I'll stay here for this first one. Pull the belly button in towards the spine, soften through the shoulders, keep that neck long, keep the head coming out towards the top of your mat. Beautiful. And take a big breath in, and as you exhale, slowly bend into your elbows, whether you're on your knees or not, and lower your whole body down to the mat. So tops of the feet are on the mat, hands come underneath our shoulders, elbows squeeze into the sides, And we're going to inhale, peel our head and our chest up off the mat for a little baby cobra. So crown of the head is reaching forward, gaze is down at the mat. No crunching in the back of the neck. And here we can really feel the belly supporting our breath. So as we inhale, we feel ourselves lift. And as we exhale, we feel our body slightly lower. Beautiful. One more inhale. I'm going to exhale, lower the head and the chest to the mat. Inhale, peel the head and the chest once again. And exhale, lower. This time we're going to curl the toes under. Take the hands back a little bit towards our ribs. Squeeze the elbows into the sides. You're going to press up to a high plank or a tabletop. And then if you're in high plank, just go ahead and exhale and lower your knees. If you're in tabletop, you're already there. Inhale, curl the toes under. And exhale, walk your hands back. Drop into the heels. Find that forward fold at the back of your mat. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to a fold. Inhale, reach out and up, stand up nice and tall. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. So all we're going to do here is we're just going to walk our feet up to the top of our mat. So keeping the right foot where it is, we're going to take the left foot one leg's distance back behind us, dropping the left heel in about 45 degrees. So those left toes are kind of pointing up towards the top left corner of the mat. Your right hip is going to draw back as you bend into that right knee, making sure the right knee goes over that right ankle and not past it. The right hip draws back, left hip draws forward, and the arms come up overhead, but we set those shoulders down, so maybe the elbows are bent a little bit. The fingers are spread nice and wide. I know you can't see mine, but they're spread nice and wide. So spread those fingers. And press into the pinky side edge of your left foot to engage that whole left leg. Beautiful. Keep breathing. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, take your right hand to your right hip. We're just going to hold our right hip here. And then we're going to reach the left fingertips up to the sky and up and over to the right. So use your right hand to kind of draw your right hip down towards the floor as you stretch through the left side body. Breathe into that left side. Stretch it out. Big breath in as you come to center. And as you exhale, the left arm is going to come back behind you. Your left toes are going to turn out towards the left side of your mat. And your right arm is going to go forward. We're in a warrior two. So our pelvic bowl, which is this whole bone here, is drawing towards the left side of the mat so that we can lengthen through the spine. The arms are out long, but the shoulders are dropped low. This right knee is still over our right ankle, and it's kind of coming out towards the right pinky toe to keep that inner right thigh engaged. We're reaching out with those fingertips as if we were extending through the arms, growing a couple inches through the arms. Breathe. Ungrip your toes. Beautiful. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, take the right forearm down to the right thigh, lift the left fingertips high. On an inhale, we're going to press deeply into the feet, use the side body, come back up, warrior two. Exhale here. Inhale, straighten the right leg, reach the arms up overhead. Turn the right toes toward the left side of your mat. So what is now the front of your mat, but the long right side of your mat. You're going to turn the heels in, toes out. You're going to come into this big Buddha squat. So I kind of like to heel back and forth, getting into the hips a little bit. And then the knees are going to roll out towards the pinky edges of your feet. Hands can come to your thighs, to your hips, to heart center, up overhead, wherever feels best. Today I'm going to keep mine at my thighs. And you're going to reach up through the crown of the head, roll the shoulders down and back, and breathe here. So lengthen the spine. Imagine a little anchor at your tailbone, taking your tailbone to the floor. Breathe. If your hands are on your thighs, you can use the fingertips to kind of roll the thighs out towards the pinky side edges of your feet so that the knees don't cave in to the center. Beautiful. On an inhale, press through those heels. Straighten the legs, reach the arms up overhead. And on an exhale, come back down to that big Buddha squat. Yep. Inhale, reach up, straighten the legs. Exhale, come back down. 2 more. Inhale, reach up, straighten those legs. Exhale, come back down. Last one. Inhale, reach up, straighten those legs. Exhale, come back down. We settle back in. Beautiful. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up overhead. As you exhale, we're going to turn those right toes back towards the front of the mat. Turn the left toes to the left side, bend into that right knee. We're back to our warrior 2. Big breath in. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Come to the ball of the left foot and step the left foot forward to meet the right forward fold at the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach out and up, stand up tall. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. So you're going to stay where you are. I'm just going to come to the back of the mat so you don't see my back side through this side of the sequence. We're going to keep the left foot forward. We're going to take the right foot back, 1 leg's distance back, dropping the right heel in that 45 degrees. So now the right toes point up towards the right corner of the mat, top corner of the mat. Left hip draws back, right hip draws forward. Press into that pinky side edge of your right foot. And if you're drawing your left hip back and you're feeling a little bit of pain, walk your left foot out to the left a little bit. Gives you a little more space within the hips. Draw the belly button in and up as you take the tailbone right to the floor. So this is going to kind of support your low back, support your core, and lengthen your spine as you reach the arms up overhead. Warrior 1, nice and strong. Feel the feet root down into the mat. So they're pressing down and then they're pulling apart from each other, really grounding down. Excuse me. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, take the left hand to your left hip. Reach the right fingertips high. Imagine this left hip kind of coming down to the floor and reaching up and over with the right hand. Stretching through the right side body. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, we open up warrior 2. So the right hand goes back behind us. The right toes turn out towards the right corner of the mat. The left toes stay forward. We keep the bend in that left knee. We keep the inner left thigh rolling out towards the left pinky toe. We're reaching those arms out long. And we're kind of keeping the arms even here. If your shoulders are super tight, you bend into the elbows, turn the palms up towards the sky. That'll lower those shoulders. However your body's feeling today, there's a way to make it feel good in each pose. And breathe. Big breath in. Exhale, left forearm down to the left thigh. Right fingertips go high. Imagine your heart turning up towards the sky. So you kind of roll that right shoulder back, opening the heart space. Now really press into the feet. Use your side body. Come back up, warrior 2. Take an exhale. Inhale, straighten that left leg. Reach the arms up overhead. Turn on those left toes. Heels come in. Actually, this time, let's turn the toes in, heels out, and take the hands to our hips. We're going to take a big breath in as we lengthen through the spine. And as we exhale, we're going to take the butt back behind us, reaching the crown of the head forward. So our spine is nice and straight. We're halfway folded forward. So my hands are still on my hips. You can kind of drop one elbow, one shoulder, and then the other, working out a little bit of the shoulder. When you're ready, as you exhale, fold all the way down, releasing the hands, maybe taking the hands down to the floor, maybe taking the hands to the ankles and drawing your body back as you fold a little deeper. Maybe walking your hands through your legs, or maybe just keeping them here next to your head. Whatever feels best. Just dig into this forward fold. If your head can come to the floor, imagine your head pressing into the floor so that you're lengthening through the spine, and then those sit bones coming down to the floor. So kind of really getting a nice stretch through the back of the legs. Beautiful. And then inhale, halfway lift. So peace fingers come to the mat, shoulders roll back, spine is nice and straight. Heel toe the feet back together just a little bit. And then bring your hands to your hips and come all the way back up, nice and slow. And then turn those left toes forward, right toes to the side of the mat. Reach those arms out long. We're back in our warrior two. Take a big breath in. Exhale, cartwheel those hands down as you come to the ball of the right foot and step forward into your forward fold. Maybe it takes a couple of steps. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, reach out and up, stand up nice and tall. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Great job. So we'll bring in a little bit of balance, and then we'll come into some hip openers, and then we'll kind of take it down to the floor again. So balance. I'm going to give you a couple of options. Sometimes we have the balance, sometimes we don't. When we're at home and we're practicing by ourselves and there's no one else around us kind of wiggling on their mat, it's actually a whole lot easier to find balance on your mat. So with your feet at the top of the mat, we're going to keep the right toes there, the right foot there. We're going to take the left foot kind of one leg's distance back. We're going to keep the toes on the mat, kind of lifting through the heel. So it's not going all the way back. It's kind of going like halfway back, that left foot. So if I was taking it all the way back, I would be able to bend into this right knee. We don't really want to bend into that right knee. We want to use this right leg as our standing supportive leg. So we're going to roll the shoulders down and back as we take the arms behind us, palms face down. We're going to come into an airplane pose. So you're going to begin to hinge at your hips as you lead forward with your heart. And maybe this is all you have today, and that is totally okay. Keep this right leg as straight as you can. Keep rolling those shoulders down and back, leading with your heart, and like shining your heart forward. Just like an airplane would shine its light through the darkness, we're shining our heart forward through the darkness. You stay right here, you can lift this left leg, kind of coming a little deeper into the pose, balancing on that right leg. Keep breathing. Beautiful. If your left leg is lifted, slowly bring it down to meet the right at the front of the mat. If it's behind you, walk it forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold just to erase the board. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach out and up, stand up tall. And exhale, take those hands to heart center. So now we move to the other side, right? We're going to take the right foot back, just a tad, so we can keep this left leg straight. Roll those shoulders down and back, palms face down, fingers point back. Really shoot the energy out through your fingertips, really shine your heart forward. So imagine those collarbones peeling apart and your heart just bursting open with light forward. Then hinge at the hips, kind of leading with your heart. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you lift this right leg. Keeping the toes pointing down towards the mat, keeping the hips square to the mat beneath you. There's a little bit of a back bend here. And then inhale, slowly bring the right foot forward to meet the left. Great job. Inhale, reach your arms up high. Exhale, fold down low. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach out and up, stand up tall. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. So we're going to try that one more time because sometimes our body just needs to get used to what muscles are working, where the body's going. So we're going to do it one more time. And if you kept your toes on the mat, maybe you lift them a little bit. So this time, I'll keep my toes on the mat and we'll kind of work with lifting the foot if you're working on your balance today. So right foot stays forward, left foot goes back about halfway, not all the way. We keep this right leg straight. We roll the shoulders down and back, palms face down, energy through the fingertips. We keep this right leg straight up as we hinge with the hips, leaning forward with our heart. So keeping the left toes on the mat if this is where you are. On an inhale, just lift your toes, and then exhale, lower them. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Just playing with the balance. Beautiful. Wherever you're at, stand up tall, take the left foot forward to meet the right. Reach the arms up overhead as you take a big breath in. And as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, reach out and up. And exhale, fold hands to heart center. So left foot's going to stay forward, right foot goes halfway back. Shoulders roll down, palms face down, fingers point back. Lead with your heart, hands at the hips. If your right toes are down, you're working on the balance. Bring the weight into your left foot. Lift those right toes. Just lift a bit and then lower them back down. Lift a bit and lower. Imagine lifting from your glute muscles, that sit bone. So you're using the power of your legs to balance you here. And wherever you're at, stand up tall. Right foot forward to meet the left. Reach out. Inhale, sweep up and up. Exhale, fold down low. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold to the floor. Bend into those knees. Bring those hands to the mat. Step the feet back, high plank. Again, you can lower those knees if you want or if you need. There's no shame in that game. You're doing the same amount of work, I promise you. Just make sure the knees are behind the hips. Take a big breath in. Exhale, lower the knees if they aren't already there. Take the elbows straight back towards your feet. Lower the whole upper body down as one. Good job. Hands come underneath those shoulders. Elbows squeeze into the sides. Gaze is down at the mat. So pay attention to the back of your neck. Make sure it's nice and long. And then inhale, peel your head and your chest up off the mat. Feel that little bend in your low back. And exhale, lower back down. Inhale, peel the head and the chest, little baby cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Scoot the arms back towards your ribs. Inhale, press up, high plank or a tabletop. If you came up to high plank, lower the knees. Let's bring the big toes together, knees go wide. Let's find a child's pose again. Come back to that breath. And then inhale, walk your hands up towards your body, lift your head. And just go ahead and drop your hips over to one side as you kind of sweep the legs out and around to come back in front of you. And let's come back to that forward fold that we did at the beginning of the class. Let's come back to those folds and let's just witness the changes within our body. So hands come to our thighs, toes turn back in towards our shins. Roll the shoulders down and back, sit up nice and tall. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, start to walk your hands forward, keeping that spine nice and straight, and see where you can go. See, maybe you reach a little bit farther. Maybe you notice and observe and witness the benefits of your yoga practice this evening. The stretching of the muscles. The power of your breath. Inhale, walk your hands back up towards your body. Widen those legs, so come to that wide straddle. Take the flesh back from those sit bones, hands down in front. Take a big breath in. Exhale, walk your hands forward. Notice where you can go now. Drum roll for phase 1. Beautiful. Next, inhale, walk your hands over to the right leg, fold over the straight right leg. Maybe you notice you can walk your hands farther than you could before. Maybe you're in the same spot, but it just feels much more settling to come into it this time. Just observing here, not judging. You're not judging yourself. And then walk your hands over to the left, folding over your left leg now. And walking your hands back to center, folding down through the center. Maybe you notice you can fold even further. Maybe you just notice you can settle in more. And then inhale, walk your hands back up towards your body. Sit up nice and tall. Bring your legs back together. You're doing such a great job. Bend into the knees, bring the bottoms of the feet to the mat. And take your body down, hug those knees in, gently rock back and forth. So we're going to get into a hip opener now. If you have never done any kind of hip opening exercises, this can be really intense, especially because we're kind of holding on to a lot now, and it's really important that we release. So keep your right knee where it is, hugging it in, but take your left foot down to the floor, keeping that left knee bent. Now cross your right ankle over your left thigh. So maybe this is where you're at. Maybe you just take the right palm to the inside of the right thigh and gently push that right thigh away from you. Not a lot, just gentle. Pull those right toes in towards your shins so you can keep your right knee happy through all of this. You could stay right here if that's what you're feeling today. If you're feeling your right hip begin to open. If you want to try to go a little bit further and see if that feels good, you can lift the left leg and interlace your fingers behind your left thigh as you draw the left thigh in towards your body. This is just an advancement of the hip opener. So if it's too much, just take it back down. Try to soften through the back of your head, the back of your neck. So when we come into here, we kind of start to like clench up and just really don't want to release from the hips. Let all of that tension go. So take a big breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, let all of that air go as you feel your body soften and sink into the mat. I think we need 2 more. Big breath in through the nose. Fill, fill, fill. Open your mouth, let it go. Yep, 1 more. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Yeah, settle in. Maybe close your eyes. Tune into that breath. And take a big breath in. If the left leg is lifted, go ahead and gently lower. We're going to uncross that right ankle, take the right foot down to the floor. We're going to take the edges of the edges of the feet to the edges of the mat and gently windshield wiper back and forth. Beautiful. We come back to center. Just going to work through the other side. So right foot stays planted, left ankle crosses over the right thigh. Curl those left toes in towards your shin. Maybe use the inside of the left palm to gently press that thigh away. Maybe you want a little bit more. You lift the right leg, you draw the right thigh in towards your body. Wherever you're at, you breathe. Soften through the back body. Soften through the face, back of the head, the back of the neck, the shoulders, shoulder blades. Notice the stillness within your body. See if you can settle in. Try not to fidget around. Let the body still. Big breath in. Exhale, lower that right foot. If it's lifted, uncross the left ankle. Take the edges of the feet to the edges of the mat. Windshield wiper back and forth. And then with the legs out wide, we're going to take the arms up to T again. You're going to drop the knees over to the left. The gaze can go over to the right. Excuse me. And then inhale, bring the knees up through to center. Keep the feet wider apart. Take the knees over to the right. The gaze can go over to the left. If that feels okay on your neck. Beautiful. Inhale, come back to center. Hug the knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. You made it through a yoga class today. You found your breath. You found your movement. Grounded down, you were present. And that is something to be very proud of. So take a big breath in as you breathe that all in. And as you exhale, send the feet long, reaching the heels for the far corners of the mat. The arms come down by your side, palms facing up. You've got that blanket around you, so if you want to cover up with that blanket or put it underneath your head as a little pillow, you totally can. Just take a couple moments as you rest in your final resting pose of the evening, Shavasana. And kind of release any control on the breath and just let it flow as it may as you sink into this pose. Releasing any residual tension that you may be holding on to. See if you can keep the body still. Close the eyes. Tune out. Draw your attention inward and tune out the outward world. And start to deepen your breathing. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, maybe rock your head back and forth. When you're ready, on an inhale, scoot your heels closer together, reach your arms up overhead, and take a nice big morning stretch, reaching fingertip to toe tip, stretching long. Beautiful. And then exhale, bend into your knees, bring the bottoms of the feet to the mat. Let your knees fall to the right or left side as you curl up on that side, using that arm as a pillow, curling up in that fetal position on whichever side that feels good for your body. Just taking a moment here as you release anything that your body would like to let go from this practice. Then press into that top hand, lift yourself up very gently to a seated position. Keeping your eyes closed if you can. Come back to that cross-legged position if you want to snag your blanket. Open your eyes and snag your blanket really quick so you can have a nice seat for a couple of moments. But go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands to heart center and just find gratitude here. close your eyes and just say thank you for whatever it is that you're thankful for today. Remember to continue to do your best to operate from your heart center. Keep shining your love light forward. And that loving light within me loves and honors that loving light within you. Thank you so very much for showing up and joining me this evening. Namaste, yogis. Stay safe. Seems like a light is at the end of the tunnel. We will be back together very, very soon. Have a good weekend. Bye.